Hello, myself Sunil Ramakrishna. I basically are discussing one of the topic that is city creation. City creation basically are discussing one of the topic that is SBI account and SBI account, Amazon account. And after 2 days, basically the big earthquake is going to happen in India. So that is the topic basically which we are discussing. In this, basically we are discussing about one topic that is lava data. In lava data, basically we are discussing one of the topic that is one person told that uh, whatever basically you are having this life that somebody has already connected with that life basically. That means 100 crore child basically which is going to generate basically from lava data, and when basically this child is going to get birth in earth planet, their stories are already basically designed in the energy format. For example, my generation basically was ended by in Mumbai, just taking as an example. In really basically it has not ended, so that was written in that planet basically. So due to that, basically my generation basically was ended in Mumbai in between Indian nationality. So Indian nationality ended by generation basically. The reason that was already done basically. That was already done. So one of the person told that this basically which we are talking about, that is we have already discussed. In previous video we have already discussed this all the topic. So we will not repeat that topic basically. But in simple language, 100 crore child going to live the life basically whatever basically they are going to have their life from child young and from old age, and after basically old age the death basically. That life cycle basically it's already created. For example, I will take one example. One person basically is a teach is uh, one person basically is a teacher there in that planet. So he is having the lifestyle of that particular child. So that child will also going to become teacher only. One person basically is become doctor there. So here basically also that person is going to become doctor. So one of the person told that here basically the education sector is totally different. There basically the education sector is totally different. Then how basically this connects? That is I told basically that is the sea water basically. Through sea water all the ideas basically goes there. But exactly education sector basically can be same basically. That's basically a magical thing. Basically. If one of the satellite person basically will connect this story basically which I am telling that basically, then he will exactly basically can connect what actually I want to say. But here the thing is, for example, here basically one person has become doctor, so there also basically he might be doctor, but the education thing basically would be same or basically it would be totally different, but it would be similar it would be similar to that exactly basically that is possible. That we will check it. Because similar basically why? Because sea water basically is giving the energy to that planet. So sea water basically is playing very dangerous role. Basically, I'm telling you that it's playing very dangerous. One of the person told that someone basically know this everything. Basically. Someone know this concept. So he basically, do you know what they have done? Basically, he created many one person duplicates. So who is the original? Basically, that's very difficult to track. That's very difficult to track. Bollywood also basically we have saw basically Bollywood basically, for example, rich person basically whatever life basically they are going to have after for example today is basically whatever life basically is having, and after sorry within this 1 week basically what he is going to do, That everything basically some actor basically or actress basically, if he's an actor then actor, they have already played the role basically. So that exact script basically that rich person basically need to do. That basically is people basically are touch with the Bollywood group basically. And this exactly basically is correct basically. So here basically one of the person told that Bollywood basically which is created, that means they know that basically this thing basically related to energy, or basically somebody has given this idea basically, and that idea actually connecting to this, somebody has given the idea, but that idea is connecting to this basically just now basically I talked about. That planet basically has already done the entire energy collected the entire energy data, and exactly same replica basically this is going to happen to 100 crore child. So somebody know this basically, or basically somebody has given this idea. That basically we can't say 100% confirm basically. Somebody might have given the idea, or somebody from satellite basically group B might have given this idea, or basically it might possible somebody might be knowing this, but it's basically 100% we can't say why basically that person is telling this idea. He got some idea basically, but on the base of what basically is telling that idea. So that is very dangerous thing basically. For that basically you require the project basically. For that basically you require the project. One person basically invented basically whatever computer basically. So that computer invented basically that particular person basically, his life basically was already played, his, because he's playing the replica life basically, right? Because the life basically he's playing, that is already basically played by one of the person basically in other planet basically. So he's just playing the replica life basically. The reason basically behind the replica is whatever idea basically he is getting na basically, that is getting from that person basically. So whatever error basically he, which he has got from the computer basically is going to get, that everything basically that person basically has already achieved that achieved that error basically, and he has cleared that idea also basically. Clear that idea's error also basically. So you will not able to believe that. So you will not able to believe that basically. So one of the person told that whatever life basically he is having na basically, that life he already had played the life. So you can just imagine basically how dangerous the world is. Basically. I basically can't imagine the world basically. And now basically the war is also not going. So the people basically who are doing the war, they might be knowing something basically. That is 100% sure. Basically. That's why basically somebody has started the war. That's why basically somebody has started this war basically. That means somebody knows this basically. Whatever life basically you are having, because in Earth planet basically, who are the big level departments? That is the scientist department, NASA department. They are telling that basically we have controlled the human basically, and we are going to control the Earth planet human. In that basically nobody else basically can control the human basically. So for that basically they have done lots of experiment basically. In this experiment, this war basically is also one of the experiment. So in this war basically, the error basically which we have already found, that is the replica life basically that he's having, that is not integrated in each and everything basically which is created. For example, corona injection, then the World War II, World War I basically which is going to happen, that each and everything basically, that is basically already played by some one person basically, his life basically is already played with. So one of the person told that, that means you are not getting the job in India land. That means somebody is basically playing with you basically. And that basically Indian nationality would not be. Because Indian nationality, if they see that basically the issue basically can become very big basically. So they pick Pakistani people basically and pick Bangladeshi people. Sometimes basically they pick Afghanistan people also basically in that way. Few Afghanistan people also basically can create problem to Sunil or NAIR basically. So that is also possible basically. That is also possible. In that base in this basically anything is possible. So all possibilities we are basically taking. So one of the person told that the people basically who had done the blocked your resume, blocked your number, they might be educated only. Because non-educated person basically can you block your number, block your resume basically. That is not possible basically. So somebody has basically educated person basically has done that. Basically. So in this basically we are taking the example of Vadodara city basically. Somebody from Vadodara city has done this. So assume that basically some group of company basically had done this. So satellite person basically told that was what is the size of Vadodara basically land basically size. So he collected the land size and immediately basically he left the space from satellite. After that basically he told that basically let me think basically what I can do with Vadodara land. And the people basically who are doing job basically in Vadodara na basically they do the job and then basically they leave Pakistan, Bangladesh, Afghanistan. They basically leave the space. Because if anybody will try to track them basically, where basically you are going to track? You will go to Pakistan, basically. You will go to Afghanistan, you will go to Bangladesh. Nobody can track that basically. So they are telling that basically we are ready to give entire Bangladesh. We are ready to give entire Pakistan. We are ready to give entire China. We are ready to give entire Bangladesh. They are telling that basically on the name of Vadodara city. Basically. On the name of Vadodara city, basically we are ready to give everything basically. Because after blocking the resume and after blocking the number basically, they immediately basically leave the space to sometime basically they leave the space to Dubai also basically. So Dubai, you know basically. So we are connected to Dubai basically. So we will take few example of Dubai also. So one of the person told that the life basically which they are, for example, just now basically 2 weeks or 1 week before basically the highest rain basically got fall basically, right? So the person which was supposed to come basically, he actually not came due to that basically cloud burst happened. So what that person basically is a replica of one life basically which is already basically uh, which life is already basically lived by the some person basically in another planet. So what is the story of that particular person basically? Because on the base of his story basically the historical rain basically fall. The historical rain basically fall. So one of the person told that basically we need to check here because everything is connected with each other. For example, in Dubai, assume that basically 50 percentage population of India basically are there. They have not helped the Dubai king basically, right? That is by default basically. Same way basically in Mumbai basically nobody helped me. In Bangalore basically nobody helped me. Same way basically I remember the Dubai king basically. That he basically nobody helped him basically. Nobody helped him basically. So same exactly basically. I also basically have their life basically in Mumbai. Where basically not a single person basically helped Sunil or Nair in Mumbai and in sorry in Maharashtra and in Gujarat and in Karnataka. So one of the person told that the lifestyle basically which you have already had basic life that somebody has already had the life. Some one person told that do you know basically in cricket industry you will not able to believe that basically sometimes basically they create the human clone basically and that human clone basically has done the programming that basically you hit 200 500 run basically in 100 ball. So that normal human basically can't do, but human clone basically can do. Why? Because he got the energy up to that level basically. Every ball basically he will hit. Every ball basically he will hit 4, 4, 6, 4, 6 like this. Basically he is going to create 500 run from 100 ball basically. So he will not able to believe that basically up to what level the creation basically has created. Now basically we will from this 100 ball to 500 ball basically we connected to this point basically. That is what basically one person told that the high profile people basically when they die basically their human souls basically connect to some accident basically. That why basically it connects that we will see basically how basically that connects basically because that is connecting to that planet basically which basically is a replica basically currently whatever life basically we are having that life basically somebody has already had that life. So here basically we'll take few examples. One person basically died. So in that might it might possible that his souls basically connected to some mountain basically, connected to some mountain basically in Jammu Kashmir or basically some Himalaya mountain basically, and that Himalaya mountain basically got blast basically. Up to that level also basically human souls basically are existing, and in that basically Delhi got big earthquake basically. Reason that person basically was up to that level powerful. That person basically was up to that level powerful basically. And we basically started this point from how basically from 100 ball basically he hit at 500 run. Now basically one other point. One person basically died. He was well known famous person basically in Iran basically. He died and suddenly basically highest rainfall basically fall on the base of his human souls basically. On the base of his human souls basically got activated basically in the particular land basically and the highest rain basically fall. But here the question basically was how the rain basically was stopped basically. How the rain basically was stopped basically. So that was not question basically. How that rain basically stopped. So that is also basically one of the story basically. But which energy was that basically who stopped that rain? First energy was he died. That person basically died from Iran, and his souls basically blasted in the particular country. Assume that basically that is Sharjah basically, and entire Sharjah basically got highest rain, but rain basically was not stopping basically. So the group basically who are into the climate industry and who are basically into the satellite group basically they have tracked each and everything, but they were not able to stop that rain. Then basically they connected to that person basically who died in Iran basically, and they told that basically this was the reason basically, and he basically they basically connected that person Iran person human souls, and then basically told that basically this is the decode of rain basically. So up to this level also basically India have to prepare basically. Because when basically in India famous person basically will die, that time basically any of the incident basically can happen. In India basically it's a god country basically. So natural disaster basically never happens. But accidents basically happens in road, in highway, in train, in plane, in ship, in big vehicles, in roads, in highway roads. There basically accidents happens. The reason is this, that is the human source. But they basically can't damage a big level damage basically they can't do. Like basically they hit to Himalaya mountain and suddenly basically big earthquake basically came. Then basically they hit some other mountain, Mount Everest, and then basically the Mount Everest basically got earthquake. So that kind of big level disaster basically they can't do. But Iran basically the human souls basically has done the big level earthquakes. Sorry, big level disasters. That is the natural disaster. So this basically we started from which point? From 100 ball basically 500 run basically was hitted by one of the clone basically that was created as a human clone because normal person basically can't hit 500 run from 100 ball. So here basically we saw some accident point, we saw some natural disaster point. One of the person told here basically suddenly basically in sea water near the Mumbai basically The water basically is coming basically inside the road basically. That basically how basically that is happening here. Basically. Then one person told that basically some big personality basically from Mumbai basically died, and his human souls basically connected to that sea water boundary basically. In that sea water boundary basically the boundary was broken and was broken basically, that also you can say, due to that his human souls. So somebody tracked that and he immediately basically created decode. So one of the person told that you need each and every decode data basically of powerful human souls. So big personality basically who are in India, you require the decode code of each and every people because they are going to do disaster basically when they are going to die. And that decode data basically you have to keep to each and every railway station, each and every railway track, each and every aeroplane train, each and every platform, each and every near sea water, each and every building construction, everywhere basically you have to keep. So that basically sometimes basically also people says that suddenly basically something happened. Reason was this, somebody basically died suddenly. So one of the person told that you have to keep the decode basically in the environment basically, and that basically India is keeping basically. Otherwise basically in India lots of big famous people basically died, like Indira Gandhi, Sonia, Rajiv Gandhi, then basically the uh, Sanjay Gandhi, Lal Bahadur Shastri, Nehru basically means lots of people says that they have taken the second vote. So here basically we are taking like these people basically died. So one of the person told that if these people basically are doing up to that level damage, so when basically the previous time basically when the king basically was ruling, that time the human souls was more powerful basically. When the king basically was dying, that time basically what was the disaster basically happening? Because these all are the research subject basically. And especially basically for IT industry, this is most dangerous basically. Because they are keeping the each and every matrix data into the computer basically. That basically is the data science project basically. Because data science project are into this basically. High tech matrix, mathematics high tech. So you can just imagine basically up to what level the creation basically which is already done. So here now the topic is one person told that how basically the accidents basically happen basically. From human souls basically, how basically it is connecting to that area only, how basically it is connecting to that area, how basically it is connecting to that only, this area. What is that magnetic effect basically, on the basis of what basically it get to that side after dying basically, after dying that person basically, how basically it went to Himalaya mountain basically, and basically in Himalaya mountain big disaster basically happened. After dying basically, how basically it went to that sea water basically, due to that sea water basically the entire sea water basically came inside the Mumbai sea basically, Mumbai city basically. So that basically how that basically has happened basically, that how basically the person basically died and how basically his souls basically connected to that area basically, how that magic basically, how that magnetic effect basically has happened basically. That is not a question basically, how basically it has connected to that area only basically, and it done the damage basically. And in India basically most of people most of so the energy company like ONGC, Reliance, they keeps decode of big personality who basically dies. So one of the person told that if they are keeping the decode of the personality person basically, that means they basically have the death data of also that person basically. Because negative basically, if you think it connects to like this basically. If they have the decode data of that particular person, that is the human soul's decoding basically, that means he have the death data of also of that particular person basically. It's not basically correct. That means it's very dangerous thing basically which you are going to design basically. Because if you are decoding the particular human source data, that means you have the data of that particular person also basically. That from basically this energy basically when we are dumping into particular body basically, then basically he's going to die basically. So if you are preparing decode data in advance basically, so somebody basically can misuse that data basically, and that is very dangerous thing basically. That is very dangerous thing basically. If you are keeping this type of a thing basically, so that decoding data will kill that particular person. So keeping the decoding data also in advance, that is very dangerous thing basically. That is very dangerous thing basically. That also you can say basically. So that is also very dangerous thing basically to keep the decoding data. So one of the person told that this kind of data basically who are expert with, because it's a digital world. So that decoding data basically you have to connect through computer only. So in that basically which country is very powerful? That is Chinese group basically, and they have created Singaporean group basically. They have created Japanese group basically. Whatever task basically they feel that basically that this is a risky task, they basically give to Singapore. They give to Japan basically, but they never do the risky task because they know that basically it's a risky task. So they created Singapore. They created Japan. They created it. They have created it. So in IT technology basically these groups are basically very powerful, and USA basically that is by default basically. But USA and this whole team basically are totally different. Both basically are competitor, but both basically are one. Both are competitor, but both are basically one. So that is also different point basically. So here one of the person told that if you have the decode data, that means the death data is already prepared with you. And that is very dangerous basically. And that data will kill that particular person basically. If you have basically created for to save the earth planet, but it will convert to killing that person basically. That's very dangerous thing basically. So in advance basically to prepare, that is very dangerous. If you are preparing in advance, then nobody is supposed to use that data basically. That you have to take care. But mostly people says that don't prepare basically, that is better. But if you are not preparing, then within second basically it is going to disaster. His human souls is going to do the disaster of that particular area. So one of the person told that human souls basically will do the disaster, whatever disaster he want to do, because you can't control the human souls from the body. That basically human souls is supposed to get out slowly, 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 and slowly basically it has to reach to that area. That kind of thing basically only satellite group basically can do. Human group basically don't have power basically, and they basically will never going to give you the secrets basically. Otherwise, basically everybody will become God basically. Everybody will become God. Everybody will say that basically by you die, you die, you die, you die. That basically thing is going to happen basically in this world, because they have the decode data. They will immediately dump the decode data, and then they will say that "Yeah, you die, you die." So that kind of basically activity will come into the picture, and that is very dangerous thing. So creating decode is also very dangerous, and not creating decode also basically will do the disaster. What disaster basically they have to do, because you can't control the human soul speed basically. So this is very dangerous point basically. Reason, this is connecting to that planet basically. That is that planet basically, which is a replica life basically we are having here. So whatever life basically here basically we are having basically, that life somebody has already played the life basically. They have already lived their life basically in that planet basically, and they have already died also. They have already died. So you can just imagine basically to what level the things basically are connected. So rich people basically life basically is very dangerous, and they are very dangerous also. But the creator of the world basically say that we have created the world, so we have to save the life. See, we have to save the world also. But here the thing is, if you are creating decode of that particular person basically of that human souls, then you can give the guarantee basically that that decode basically is nobody is going to use, because in business basically lots of people basically kills each and every people basically. So this is the very easiest equipment basically, because you have the human souls, that person's human souls decode data basically, and if you have the decode data, that means that is a death data basically. That is basically death data na, basically. And the person basically who's died basically, his life basically somebody has already played there. So at that time basically he died. That's why basically here basically he is dying. So one of the person told that see the connection chain basically see, yeah. Up to what level the things are basically connected, that you see. And this is very dangerous video. If this video basically anybody will watch basically who is very powerful and he want to control the whole world basically, then I am telling you basically he will really will control the world from this idea. But that is not going to work basically. Why? Because he basically can't become the god basically. Because he will become the god na basically. If he will have the decode of each and every big people basically, then he has already become the god basically. He has already become the god basically. So one of the person told that to create the decode, that is very dangerous also, and if you will not create, that is more dangerous. Why? Because you can't say that basically which disaster basically it is going to create, which big disaster basically it is going to create, that you can't say basically. That is very dangerous thing basically. Just now basically I had discussed, that is very dangerous point. But if anybody will get this video basically the big, and he basically can be rich person only, and he basically will be very powerful in the nuclear disaster, nuclear creation, because this video basically say that you have to change the nuclear data also. In last few video also basically I had told that basically you have to change the nuclear data. So first World War data you have to recorrect, second World War data basically you have to recorrect, then basically third World War data basically if you are going to do nuclear blast, then basically third World War data, third World War nuclear weapon also which you are going to use, that also basically you have to recorrect. So you can just imagine basically one of the person told that basically the life basically which we are having here basically somebody has already played the life in other planet. That is not magical thing basically. From the person told this is the real magic basically. So universe group basically are the magician basically, and they know that basically when Sunil or NAIR is going to die. And after die, basically, what are the things basically going to happen? Because they know that basically Sunil or NAIR basically his replica life basically somebody has already played in that planet. So the satellite group know that when Sunil or NAIR basically is going to die, when that person is going to die, when this person is going to die. So the satellite group know that. Why? Because they know that life also basically, that this person basically is connected with this person life, that 100 crore child basically is which is going to take birth basically, That already basically the somebody has played the role up to old age, and basically the all entire 100 crore people basically has already died. So whatever idea basically you are getting basically from your to your body basically, that is basically already filtered and corrected idea basically is coming to your brain. So you can just imagine basically up to what level basically the world has reached. So I'm not telling that basically world has wrongly created, thisly created. That basically I'm not telling. But see the life basically, and see the nuclear power creation basically. How the creation is created. Nuclear weapons that is created by the defense group. No, I have not created it. The defense group has created. In defense basically, the software industries are there. They have created, but they will create how basically. If they will get the data, then only basically they can create them basically. System analysis basically are done, and in system analysis basically the nuclear data basically which are supposed to be taken, in that basically this data was not taken. That is the replica lifestyle wala data. In that basically the creator group basically we can't blame basically. System analysis also basically we can't blame, because they also got some boundary line basically. Within this boundary only you have to collect the data. So whom to blame, that is also a question. This connects to like this basically. Each and every responsibility person basically we have taken the responsible example basically. Sunil or Nair basically given resume to that consultant. When we asked that consultant basically, that consultant told that basically I have passed your resume basically. When Sunil or Nair basically contacted to that company basically, he told that basically they told that we have passed the resume to technical department. When technical department basically got the information, they told that no, basically we have never got the resume basically. Or basically they will say that basically your requirement basically does not match to our requirement. Or basically they will say that basically the project is in hold. But the main motive is Sunil or Nair basically is not supposed to get job. That is the target. Same way basically in Mumbai basically how target was achieved. Sunil or Nair visited Mumbai. They have not given the job. Basically. In Bangalore also basically they have not given the job. So this point basically started from where? This point started from 100 ball basically. One person basically hit 500 run, and that person basically was human clone, which is created by assume that basically some Chinese group, some Japanese group basically, and some American group has created, and in that basically some power company has given the power. That was assume that basically that was a Tata powerhouse. They have given the power to that human souls, human clone basically. So in next video basically we are going to see little bit more about this topic, that is the replica story basically. The current lifestyle basically we are having, that lifestyle is already played by somebody else in the other planet.